Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So welcome back. I think we are connecting after a long period of time. We were scheduled to have a class yesterday, but unfortunately I wasn't available. But yeah, in the last sessions we discussed how to create a balance sheet in Excel, and before that, income statement was taught to you. And I hope that you are now well versed about how to create income statement and balance sheet in your Excel. And if you are practicing it at your own pace, at your home or on your laptops, so I would be happy to see some of your work. And if you are not doing anything at all, then I'll share my PPTs with you and at least try to build one statement for each of the things which I taught to you, like P&L account, balance sheet, and income statement, based on some hypothetical data or based on any question you are solving while studying financial management or financial accounting. So this is the third important component in financial modeling, which we call as cash flow statement. Okay, now again, since I am anticipating that none of you would be having laptop accessibility with you, so again, I would be going in a very passive mode. I'll just taught you how the theoretical background of financial modeling works with respect to the cash flow statement, how you can build a cash flow statement using Excel. So yeah, how to make a cash flow statement in Microsoft Excel. This is the title of our today's discussion. A cash flow statement shows a company's inflow and outflow of funds over a given period of time. It's really easy to make it in Excel. What is cash flow? Cash flow is nothing but just inflow of some money from companies to others account, and some outflows of the some inflow of the money from some other accounts to the company's account, and some outflows of the money are like some cash being given to the outsiders. Okay, so and this is like pretty simple for you, inflow and outflow of funds. You can easily you know what it is exactly. So you don't need to use a particular app or even hire a bookkeeper to create financial documents specifically with respect to the cash flow statement. All you need is Microsoft Excel and a little know-how as to how to use it. Okay, most financial statements are composed of the cash flow statement, the income statement, and the balance sheet. Income statement I already taught you, balance sheet we had already discussed. But for now, let's focus on the first document, or vice versa. We are talking about the cash flow statement. So here is a guide on how to make cash flow statement in Excel. So this is the guide we are following. What is a cash flow statement? A cash flow statement is a financial document that shows the movement of cash and cash equivalents in your business. You could see where all the money in your business came from and where do you spend it. This is pretty simple. Any payment you are making to any supplier is your cash outflow. Any money you are getting in any form, say for example like cash or kinds, that is your inflow. So we have to manage it. What are the cash inflows from our business and what are the cash going out of our business, which we called as cash outflows. And cash flow can tell you how you are managing your operations. This is a pretty simple tool which would help us to understand how our money is going. Do you have enough cash to operate your business? This is the important question which can be answered by preparing a cash flow. So there is certain amount which is going outside from our business, and there are some money which is like coming into our business, and so after subtracting what is coming to what is outgoing, we can easily comprehend that does we have enough cash to operate our business or not. Can you pay off your coming obligations? And this will also gives an indication towards towards kind of obligations the company have in forms of some current liabilities or money which needs to be paid to the outsiders or the stakeholders of the company. And with the cash flow statement, we can accurately tell the cash we have available for any given period of time. So if we are preparing a cash flow statement, so we can easily not easily and accurately tell that this is the amount available with us right now, right here. Okay, this is how we calculate, like what we call is closing stock or something. So this is the amount. For example, today what we have made payments of rupees 5,000, and we received cash flow from different vendors are like 6,000. So if we'll minus it, so we can easily understand that we have 1,000 rupees left with us. So this can tell us accurately where we are right now. So again, whenever we are doing it, so these are the steps involved in creating a cash flow statement. And accounting, the most important aspect of accounting is related with the time duration we are conducting. And this is very important and essential to make entries based on the time and date as and when they are occurring. So this also will include the period to cover. The cash flow statement are usually broken down into monthly periods. So typically, when we prepared cash flow statement, they should be like on monthly basis. That way, you can see how much you gained and spent. So after the end of the month, we can easily comprehend that how much we spent and how much we got out of the business we are doing. Most businesses start their fiscal year at their founding date. So they will start it with when they have started doing business, but you can choose to begin in other months like January if it's more convenient for you. So for example, your founding date is April, so you can start doing it with April. But you can also do it like from the January, coming January or something like this, but you have to make it. So this is based on your requirement and necessity. You can choose a period to cover that this financial statement, this cash flows is for the period of such and such month. Now we have to prepare our data. Before creating your cash flow statement, you should have your data on hand. So again, if the company is managing any sort of ledger or entries they are doing, so you should get all these inflows with you. So if you have a journal, keep it within your reach. So you should keep it alongside you before you proceed further to create the financial cash flows. Okay, sorry. If you don't have a journal, a list of all your expenses and revenue is a good starting point. Okay, so agar if a journal has not been used or has not been prepared, then you can start with all the expenses a company has occurred along with all the revenues a company has got by way of selling the product or any form of revenues it generated Typically, it would be like all the expenses, all the expenditures done by the company, and all the gains or the revenues or the cash inflows collected by the company. As long as you write down the date, payer details, and amount of every cash movement, you can make a cash flow statement. So, this is like a very basic. If you want to create your cash flows, so you can also, so what you have to do, you should have all the details of the amount you received and all the on all the daily day-to-day payments you paid to different vendors. So you can easily create a cash flow statement. Now, when you have like a bunch of data available with you, wherein all the expenses are written, and all the revenues collected by the company have also been there. So what we have to do now, we have to sort that data. When we have all the transaction, it's time to break them into 3 categories. So this is important. So we have to segregate our data on the basis of these 3 options, and these are operations, investment, and financing. So these are 3 types of categories available when we are preparing a cash flow statement. First one is operations, second one is investment, and third one is financing. Now we will try to understand what are the operation expenses, and what are the things related to the investment, and what are the entries that would be under the category of financing. So operations related to cash made and spent for the day-to-day activities. This includes money made from selling products and services, cash paid on overhead expenses, salaries, and inventory also fall under this category. So as the name itself suggests, operations is confined with the day-to-day activities, like any amount of money you are paying or any amount of money you are getting. So there are certain things from where you will get the money is from selling product and services. So for example, if the sale of the day for a company is $1,000, so it would be our operations. So this would come under our operation category, because this is the amount we are getting out of our day-to-day activities. Because if a company is selling some products, so definitely this will come under day-to-day activities. And if we are paying some cash or kind on the expenses, overhead expenses, salaries we are paying, or for example wages we are paying to our unskilled worker, like daily 500 rupees each, or inventory. So all these things will fall under the operation category. Now investments. Investing covers expenses on long-term assets. If a company, if a company has purchased a property and equipment, कहीं पे company ने property खरीद ली and they are planning to build a warehouse on it. So अब तो अगर if we will include it in the operations activity, so it would be like huge amount. For example, 1 crore rupees property or something like this, so it would be a huge amount. So we cannot keep it into the operation, so we'll have to put it in the investment categories, as it will yield certain profits to the company in the long run, if not in the short run. For example, a company prior to purchase of a truck, a company used to hire a truck to to place their finalized products from one place to the other. But now, in order to if they are not willing to do it like now, and they are purchasing their own truck, So, and it is costing like, say for example, 40 lakhs or something. So this won't become under the operations, this will come under the investment, because this is a long-term investment which will yield profit to the company after a long run, if not in the short runs. Okay. So any cash made from these sales of these assets is also considered here. And for example, a company has to sell some like hard assets, or which we call as the long term assets. If they have to sell during any duration wherein we are dealing with we are creating this cash flow statement, so it would also come under the investment. Okay. So if there was a property office company has have a office in some places like Delhi or somewhere, and they are now selling it and they are not using it anymore, so this would come under the investment also. Okay. So we should understand how we can segregate our inflows or outflows. If they are like for the quick or confined with the day-to-day activities, it would be operational. And if they have any iota of long-termity in themselves, so we will have to segregate it and put it into the investment categories. Now, third and the final is the financing. The financing comes from investors, including the owners, and from the loans. In this section, we also discuss dividends and loan repayments. So financing is basically, if anyone is putting down their money in order to build that business or to start that business, that would become under the finance. So this would come from the investors who have invested their money into the company, which includes the owners also. Okay. And in form of loans also, if the loan has been taken to operate a business, it would come under the financing. Or isme will have to pay the dividends out of the profits we made, and the loan repayments. The loan taken in order to run the businesses. Okay, so we'll come into that. We'll learn all these things. So now this is the thing you have. This is the time. This is the place where you'll have to start. You have to create your Excel file. Okay, to start making your cash flow statement, open up Excel and create a new file. Simple, which we have been doing like since the very start of this course. We'll open our Excel and create a new file. If any one of you doing it right now, right here, I would be really happy. If not, I'll share it with you, and you try to build your cash flow statement based on the steps we are discussing here. So at the top row, write down your company name, and along with it, cash flow statement. This lets you easily identify file upon opening. So you'll have to use like this: ACME Incorporation Cash Flow Limited. So if this is written on the top, so you can easily identify what this is. The company name signifies the name of the company which you are using, and then the cash flow statement is a type of investment, type of statement it is. So it would be really easy for you to identify. Okay, leave one row empty for formatting, then write period beginning and period ending. So in the next two rows. So this is what we have been discussing: period ending and period beginning and the period ending. So for which month we are creating it, we'll have to keep in mind कि हमको अगर हमको कैश फ्लो बनाना है, हमको अंदाजा लगाना है कि कितना कैश has gone out of the company and how much we are earning out of it. So it should be like it should have certain starting point and the end point, as simple as that. So we should is like, so in the next two rows, do this to know what period you're exactly covering. Okay. And then again, leave one row empty, then write cash beginning and cash ending. These rows will show, reflect when you have at the start and the end of the period. So after leaving one cell empty, cash beginning, cash at beginning, you can write cash beginning and cash ending. Okay. Now this is the real tessel, and you have to find out the subcategories. So you have like lots of data available with you, and now you have to divide the data into the subcategories. So the three main categories generally remain the same across companies. Okay. However, the subcategories vary widely. They would depend on the type of your business and operations. To help you get started, here are some excellent examples per category. Okay. Sorry. So जो मेन कैटेगरीज वी वर डिस्कसिंग, कौन कौन सी थी? कोई बोलेगा अगर सुन रहा होगा तो? ओके. तो थ्री कैटेगरीज वी वर डिस्कसिंग वर ऑपरेटिंग, ओके, फाइनेंसिंग एंड ये. ठीक है. So the three main categories. So these three main categories would be like would remain same irrespective of the type of company you are dealing with or type of product you are dealing with, but the subcategories would they would depend. The subcategories would be widely vary from the from company to company on the basis of the nature of the business a company is dealing and the types of operations a company is dealing with. So this is the typical example. Okay. So the first type of category is the operations. Under the operations, these are our subcategories. Okay. So this can be varied based on the type of nature of the business and the type of organization, but operations would be same irrespective of the company you are preparing a statement for. Okay, so operations under cash inflow, sales under cash outflow. So cash inflow जो पैसा हमारे पास आ रहा है, so वो पैसा primarily कहाँ से आएगा हमारे पास? Through the sales. Cash outflows, the money getting out of the business, वो कैसे जाएगी? If we purchase some inventory, a cash outflow would be there. If you are paying salaries to your workers and the laborers, your money is getting out, so it would come under the cash outflow. Okay. Operating expenses, these includes overhead costs like rents, telecoms, and electricity bill. So if you are paying some rent, office rent or warehouse rent or some rents, and telecom bills, telephone bills, electricity bills, so these will come under the operating expenses under overhead costs. Interest, this is the interest amount you pay on loans you have made. If you are paying, if you have some liability through loans and you are paying interest on it, so this is our cash outflow. The money is getting out of our hands, and any taxes you are paying will come under the cash outflow category. So this is how it would look like. So continuing to this, once you prepared, you have written these things, we'll have to go with the operations, cash inflows, sales, then cash outflows by way of inventory, salaries, operating expenses, interest paid, taxes paid. Okay. Now the second category is the investments. Investments are related with the long-term financing or long-term payments on behalf of the company. So what are the subcategories for investment? There are primarily two subcategories for the investment. One is under cash inflow, sorry, and the other one is under cash outflow. So what would come under under cash inflow is the any amount which is coming into the business. So for example, I gave you an example like just a few minutes before. If a company is selling any assets, for example, a company had an office in Delhi, but they are no more interested in operating from there and they are now selling it. So this is what it is. This is our asset sold. So this will come under the cash, under cash inflow. जहाँ पे कंपनी के पास पैसा आ रहा है, company is getting something out of it. Loans paid back. These are payments to loans you are given to person or institutions. ठीक है? So तुम्हारा तुमने किसी को लोन दिया था, किसी पर्सन को और इंस्टीट्यूशन को, एंड नाउ दे आर पेइंग बैक इट टू यू. कंपनीज लोन्स देती है ना. फॉर एग्जांपल इफ कंपनी हैज अ पॉलिसी टू गिव लोन टू देयर एम्प्लॉइज, ठीक है, इफ दे आर बाइंग होम और बाइंग फोर व्हीलर और समथिंग लाइक दिस, if they are repaying, so this is a cash inflow for the company. Okay, and this will come under cash inflow. And now cash outflow, investment, assets bought, just opposite of what was there, what is there in the cash inflows. If a company has acquired a asset, a company has bought a assets by, like a company has established a new office in some part of Pune, for example, and they have bought that place, that is space. So this is our cash outflow. And loan issued, these are the amount you have lent to person or institution. अगर किसी को loan issue किया है institution या person को, तो this would come under the cash outflow. Okay, so this is how it would look like. Investments by way of cash inflows and the assets sold, loans paid back, cash outflow, assets bought, and loan issues. Now third and the last category is the financing. So financing, what would come under the cash inflow? Borrowing. These are money we receive from lending institutions. And that stock issuance, these are investments made by the owners and third parties. So वहां पे जो हमको लोन ले रहे थे या दे रहे थे, वो हम इंडिविजुअल्स को दे रहे थे या इंस्टीट्यूशंस को दे रहे थे. लेकिन यहाँ जो फाइनेंसिंग है प्रॉपर, दिस इज रिलेटेड विद द फाइनेंसिंग इंस्टीट्यूशंस, like for example bank or any other mortgage financing firm or any financing firm. If we are taking money from, for example, for the simplicity, we'll keep it as the bank only. So if you are borrowing from a bank, this will come under cash inflow, क्योंकि पैसा हमारे पास बैंक से आ रहा है. Stock issuance, these are the investment made by the owners and the third parties. ठीक है, और हम स्टॉक इशू कर रहे हैं, तो ये इन्वेस्टमेंट हमको मिल रहा है, तो स्टॉक इशू कर रहे हैं, तो वी गेटिंग समथिंग, सम मनी आउट ऑफ इट. These are the investment basically made by the owners or the third parties. So this is stock issuance and money is coming into the business. So this will be come under the cash inflow. And cash outflow, loan repayment. So हमने बैंक से पैसा लिया and now we have to repay it. This is the amount you spend paying back the principal on your loan. So principal अगर दे रहे हैं तो it will come under financing. And interest will come under the operating. Okay, and the dividends, this is the cash spent when sharing profits with investors and owners, including yourself. So if you are running a business and we'll have to now give the dividends to the party, to the owners of the company, so this is our cash outflow. This is how it would look like if you are preparing it in Excel. So financing by way of cash inflow. Cash inflow would include borrowing from the banks, stock issuance to the owners and the suppliers, cash outflow by way of loan repayment, and next dividend. Just give me a minute, I need to put my charger. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. So yeah. So if now we are preparing it for financing, so it would include cash inflows, borrowing from the bank, stock issuance, and when we talk about the cash outflows, loan repayments, and the dividends paid to the owners of the organization would come under the financing part. So now these are the commonly used subcategories, but you can add more as you see fit. Just a reminder, each category must relate to actual cash spent and received. So we are talking about the subcategories, not the categories. Okay. So operating financing would be like same, but if you want to change some category, some subcategories among them, then you are you are free to do so. Add an empty row at the end of each category list, then write net cash flow. Okay. I'll just show you. So this is net cash flow financing, net cash flow for operating, and net cash flow for the third type. Okay. So add a new empty row at the end of each category, then write net cash flow. This is the subtotal that shows how much money you have made or spent for each section. Because since we have to calculate it for each section, so at the end of each category, we'll have to fill that net cash flow by, and in the parenthesis you should have to write the categories you are dealing with. Finally, after listing all categories, subcategories, and totals, at the bottom write net cash flow. This shows the total inflow or outflow of money you had for a period. So this is for subcategory, and this is net cash flow is for the all the three categories which we are dealing in. Okay. Now, don't forget to add an empty row between categories after the subtotal and an indent for each subcategory. You can find indent button under the alignment section of the home ribbon, which allows for clearer formatting and makes easier to see and analyze. So this is the alignment we'll have to do. So this shows, I wish you had a laptop and you would be doing it along with me. And since I'm not also using Excel now, so you can just comprehend it. So this is our financing category. Okay. If you can see my cursor, and this is the cash inflow. This is our subcategory. So we'll have to keep the alignment for borrowing and stock issuance. So it is showing that borrowing and stock issuance are the part of cash inflows, which is our subcategory, and cash inflow is a part of a main category, which is financing. This is quite easier for you. This is the alignment button, home ribbon. You can find it. You can find the indent button in the alignment section of the home ribbon. Okay, so formatting would be easier if you are following it. Now also resize the first column to avoid its content from spilling over to the next columns. Double click on the line between column and B to do this automatically. This is pretty simple. This I had done like millions of time when we were actually doing it on Excel. So if you click on in here, so it would be like uh, full details in the cell A which we have put will be visible to all of us. So it would certainly avoid any sort of any sort of any sort of mistake or any sort of mismatch. Okay, yeah. Now it's time to prepare our formulas. So cash flow statement formulas are pretty simple. All you need is to use the sum command, which we are doing in like for income statement and balance sheet also. So we'll have to add the sum command. First select the net cash flow category first, for example operating, cell under the corresponding period and category subtotal. Then type is equals to sum and choose all the cells from each section. Don't forget to hold the shift key so that you can select multiple cells. Once done, press enter key and you should see the subtotals for that category. So for example, this is the sum total. This is the net cash flow for operations is equals to sum, and these are the things which are, these are the subcategories under operations. So we have to add all these things. Okay. Now to get the net cash flow, repeat the procedure above. Net cash flow भी हमको ऐसे ही मिलेगा. टाइप करना है इक्वल टू सम, देन चूज ईच करस्पॉन्डिंग सब टोटल, ऊपर वाले को चूज कर लेना है. दिस टाइम ट्राई होल्ड द कंट्रोल की टू सेलेक्ट मल्टीपल सेल्स देयर आरंट बिसाइड्स ईच अदर, क्योंकि ये वाले जो होंगे ना आसपास नहीं होंगे, तो we'll have to you have to click on the control key so that we can categorically identify the amount which we are supposed to enter into it. Once done, press enter key again. You will have your total cash flow for the chosen period. So this is like clicking on the control key, and we will sum all the three net cash inflows: financing, investments, and operations. B39, B29, and B19. So you just click on it, and we'll get a summation of all the cash flows, and this would be our net cash flow. Just give me 5 minutes, 5 minutes. Yeah, okay. Now to get your cash ending, go to the corresponding cell and type is equals to sum. कैश एंडिंग के लिए जो हमने ऊपर लिखा था उसके लिए हमको कैश एंडिंग पे जाना है. सम इज इक्वल्स टू सम. व्हाइल होल्डिंग डाउन द कंट्रोल की, क्लिक ऑन द सेल्स विद द नेट कैश इनफ्लोज. तो जो नेट कैश फ्लो के हमारे सेल्स हैं, बाय यूजिंग कंट्रोल की विल हैव टू यूज देम एंड कैश बिगिनिंग वैल्यूज फॉर द करस्पॉन्डिंग पीरियड. तो वही हमको कैश एंडिंग के लिए करना है, वही कैश बिगिनिंग के लिए करना है, और एंटर करके हमको अमाउंट आ जाएगा, उसका सम का फॉर्मूला लगा होगा. तो सेटिंग मल्टीपल मंथ्स. इफ यू वांट टू कंपेयर योर कैश फ्लो ओवर मल्टीपल मंथ्स, यू नीड टू सेट दिस फॉर्मूला फर्स्ट. अंडर बिगिनिंग कैश फॉर द नेक्स्ट मंथ, राइट इज इक्वल्स टू, देन क्लिक ऑन द करस्पॉन्डिंग सेल फॉर एंडिंग कैश फॉर द लास्ट मंथ. दिस ऑटोमेटिकली कॉपीज द एंडिंग कैश फॉर द प्रीवियस मंथ एट द बिगिनिंग to the beginning cash of the following month. This is how it is done. If you are doing it like for different months and you want to compare it, so इसका जो closing cash ending होगा वो इसका cash beginning होगा. So just you'll have to write is equals to and click on the cash ending of the previous month. Okay, so by this you will get it. And now as for the rest of the formulas, all you need is to copy them across the rest of the months you want to cover. सब में copy कर दो उसको. hold the shift key to select all the cells from cash ending all the way to the next net cash flow तक सारा का ये करना है. Once done, type Ctrl plus C to copy them. Ctrl plus C से copy कर लो, then click on the corresponding cell for cash ending for the following month and type V, और वहाँ पे Ctrl V करके paste कर दो. Excel will automatically adjust these formulas to reflect the correct corresponding column. This is how it is done. Make sure there are no other values in the cells you selected except the formulas. सिर्फ formulas उसमें होना चाहिए और कुछ नहीं होना चाहिए. उसको drag कर दो till the last, so Excel will automatically put the values. Formatting, तो I had a session on it. Itself formatting कैसे हमको अपने Excel को करना है. Format your entries so negative numbers appear red. This lets you analyze your statement much easier. फॉर्मेटिंग करोगे तो फॉर्मेटिंग में क्या करना है, नेगेटिव को राइट कर दो या ब्रैकेट्स में डाल दो. टू डू दैट सेलेक्ट ऑल नंबर एंट्रीज दैट क्लिक ऑन द ड्रॉप डाउन मेन्यू इन द नंबर सेक्शन. यू कैन फाइंड द them in the home. So this is how it is done. तो यहाँ पे हम उसको नंबर फॉर्म में लगा देंगे. ठीक है, this you all know about this. Click more number format. A new window format will open. Under the number tab, you go to the category menu, then choose currency. Simple, because we are talking about पैसा, तो currency में convert करना पड़ेगा. Choose the correct symbol in the drop down menu. Then under the negative number sub window, select the itna with the red color option. This is I told you. If you select this, okay, so this should let you see your expenses in red. तो जो खर्चा होगा वो हमारा जो वो रेड में दिखाई देगा. Making it easier to differentiate inflows and outflows. तो हमको पता चल गया कि जो पैसा गया है वो रेड में दिखाया जाएगा, जो पैसा कंपनी में आया है वो नॉर्मल है. You can also select each category and subtotal row and fill them with different colors. This will make it easier to differentiate between sections at a glance. So this is how it will look like. Okay. And again, input your value after you have prepared everything. All that's left is to input the actual value. Don't forget to add the negative sign on expenses. Once done, you will have a completed cash flow statement. So this is our values and this is how it would look like. So all red shows the cash outflows which a company has paid, and all which is not red is the cash inflows, which is the money a payment made to the company. Okay, so yeah, I hope this is the end, and this is the cash flow statement, prepared cash flow statement for you. Yeah, so this is what we learned, like though I did it theoretically for you, but this is the practicality of it. So if any problem, just let me know. Otherwise, we have done for the day. This is just the formatting part of it, and you can do it like any which way you want it to do it. Okay. So I hope this is clear to you. This is the cash flow investment. So now we have covered all the three important component of a financial modeling, which is cash flow. I should have taught it like first, but there is no interlinking of one statement with the other. So I opted to taught you like financial. The first one income statement first, and then balance sheet and cash inflows. But the reverse order can also be followed. First, you learn how to create a cash flow statement, then based on it, income statement, and based on it, the balance sheet. I hope this is clear for you. In any question, just let me know in 1 minute, and after that, I'll just finish the meeting. I mean, I left it. I give you 1 minute to speak if you want it at all to speak. No questions, no problem. Thank you so much for the wonderful audience. Thank you. Okay, take care. Bye. This is all from my side.